the NFL has suspended Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, for all of next season, at least. It could be longer, for gambling on NFL games. Now, here's what the story says, all the stories, that when he was away from the team, remember he went away, he had a non-football injury. And
mental health.
Mental health issues. And while he was away during a 5-game stretch in November, the league is saying he gambled on games, not on Falcons games. According to them, I thought
a Falcons game was in one of them. No, in a parlay.
It was a parlay. Oh no, you're right. It did include the Falcons to win. You're right.
That was a big thing.
It was a parlay. Yeah. And the Falcons were included in that. He bet on them to win, but they weren't included.
But he still was included in the parlay. Right. That's just remember that point. That's what we want to talk about. Remember
he said on Twitter after the suspension, apparently he cooperated with the league, and he tweeted this out, Rob, that he bet $1,500 total, and he said, I don't have a gambling problem. So there you have it. What are your thoughts?
All right, I'm the different guy in the room. I think the NFL should allow players to gamble on football. Wow. I know, Chris, people are going to say
totally
I'm crazy.
The grain.
Right. But I do believe this because as we go forward, here's the problem I have. The NFL is in bed with gambling. Come on, stop. They're in bed. It's all out there, Chris. It's legal in a lot of states. Your fans can bet. They're talking about having gambling apparatuses in the stadiums eventually, right? You could bet during the game, all kinds of stuff. And all I'm saying is you can't be against gambling, but take the gambling houses' money. You can't. It's either
I don't think they're against gambling.
No, but
they're
I'm saying
players and coaches and executives gambling.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. It's still, and here's my issue. I know people say, well, players can't gamble. They already have. I want it to be, Chris, above board. Players can gamble as long as they don't gamble on their own team. If you
even to win, you can't even bet on your team.
Not to win, nothing. As long as you stay away from your own team, I'm cool with that. If you have a bye or whatever, I'm just saying, say you have a bye, you're not even playing that Sunday, and I want to put down a couple of shekels on Green Bay and Kansas City and the Chargers in a parlay, and I'm not playing, I don't see where there's an issue. If you're giving out inside information to people, if you're doing gambling on your own team, and then you come down hard on those people. So as we go forward, Chris, when plays are made or not made, people are going to be like, did he bet on this game? Did you see that?
Why do you think? I don't think that, though.
I think as you go forward, because it was the same way after the Tim Donaghy in the NBA. People started going, the referees. I'm not saying that it's all happening.
But Donaghy was definitely cheating and influencing games.
I just think make it above board so that people aren't in the slippery slope, and then they don't have to hide it. Keep standards, Chris. Have put together a gambling task force who's working with casinos and looking for bets, looking for money coming from players, and police it. And this way you can just say gambling's a thing that's legal now in most states in the United States and eventually will be in all states. And as long as they don't cheat or bet on their team, and when I mean cheat, give up information to other people or whatever, then
like players on other teams?
No, yeah,
because that's one of the fears is that players and obviously executives, coaches, etc.
No, you can't
inside information.
You can't exchange information at all. That would be you can't call your friend who plays for the Dolphins and say, hey, you know what? Ryan's not playing. He's really hurt. And I know the spread's is the same, and they don't know, and they got him as doubtful or whatever. I'm telling you, he ain't playing. We're gonna lose this game or whatever. Those kind of conversations can't happen. But I believe, Chris, the NFL's in bed with gambling, and they might as well police the players make everything above board and stop playing this game because, Chris, people will gamble on football, including football players. And do you want a mess of guys getting busted, guys getting suspended for a year? That's what and then every story, big stories will be about some player getting busted and that'll overtake what you're talking about. And you don't want that. You don't want that. That's me.
Yeah, I mean, my gut feeling is I'm against that. But I'm not going to totally dismiss what you said out of hand just because, we've all been conditioned to just feel like you shouldn't allow athletes or anyone affiliated with teams and sports to gamble, which I get. I think I'm fine with this 1-year suspension. Some might say, oh, he only bet $1,500. But I think they need to send a message. Right now, the rule is you can't gamble. And so they need to send a message, a harsh message, so that other players are like, man, I'm not, ruining my season, losing a season of my career because I bet $1,500, $2,000, $50,000, whatever it is. It's not going to be comparable to your salary. So I'm fine with the year-long suspension. Like I said, my gut, I wouldn't say let's have players gamble. I don't have a problem with the league, being partners with gambling. We just understand everybody can't do certain things. If you're a player in the league for the integrity of the game and just being a player, just being a coach, just being an executive, you do have inside information that fans and everybody else betting doesn't have.
Let me say
this. It's as simple as that. Even about opponents. Even about opponents, you'll have it. I do feel, here's what I'll say before you go, Rob. I do agree with you that not so much because the league is in bed with gambling, although that's a factor. I think just the fact that society now is so much more open to gambling and is so much more accepted that athletes will be, it can become part of their lifestyle. And then because it's part of their lifestyle, it can easily bleed over into the sport they play. So that's where I think the NFL, that the challenge is at. It's not just that this sport in the NFL is in bed with gambling. I just think these guys live in society. Society is more open to it. They've got a ton of money. They may want the thrill of gambling. And so that's what's tempting to the athletes.
And all I'm going to say is, I see on Twitter people saying, why would you risk an $11 million contract on betting $1,500? Chris, every gambling commercial has a thing about if you have a problem with gambling, call this number. In this state, call this number. In this state, because it becomes one of those things that's very contagious and people can't stop. And people will bet their mortgage money and all kinds of stuff.
Addictive.
Thinking, yes, it's very addictive. And all I'm saying is, I think the NFL should get ahead of this, not worry about it going forward. And once you let players know, do not give up information. And if you gamble on your own team, it's a wrap.
If they're going to follow that rule, why wouldn't they follow the rule just no gambling, period? If we find out you're gambling on any NFL games, you're suspended for the year. If it hits a certain threshold, or second time you're out, you're not coming back. What about that?
Chris, let me ask you a question. Just one question. You think Ridley's the only guy who gambled on football?
I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm asking you. I'm just asking you.
But I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea.
Okay.
But probably not. But who knows?
I'm saying it's going on
it's
already.
Speculation.
It's going on already.
Speculation.
And as more states open up.
We assume that, but that's speculation.
I feel good about my guess.
Okay, but that's not a fact. That's not.
I didn't say it was a fact, but I believe it.
So
I believe that others, that one guy is betting on football. No, because there was a player in 2019. What was his name? Crowder, or who got busted too?
Right. But I agree with you. If it becomes a ton of players and every few months of players being busted, several players a year, then you're right in that the game, people will start questioning certain plays and stuff. But if not, dude's got to be smart. If I'm making all this money, I mean, there are a lot of temptations in life. Don't do it.